Dear Ukrainians, today is the Independence Day of Ukraine. I am now here in the heart of Kyiv, on the Maidan of Independence. And it is here that the independence is best felt. What is independence? Why is it so important to us? And why is the Maidan much more than the main square of the country? Because it is a symbol of independence. To preserve it, this is a place where history is always created. Energy is born, the power of our people. In times when independence is threatened. And now, when there is a full-scale war for independence, it is here on the Maidan that you can find such important symbols. Symbols of how we fight, what we fight for, and how we overcome this war. These symbols are around us in this monument of independence. Inside it has a reinforced concrete frame and is really able to withstand the hurricane. So did our Ukraine. It withstood the great storm that Russia brought to our land. In this 0 kilometer, this is the starting point of the distance to the Ukrainian cities. To our Donetsk, our Luhansk, our Crimea. And today these symbols have a completely different meaning. They are not only about kilometers, they remind us that all this is Ukraine. And there are our people. And no distance between us will change it. And no temporary occupation will change it. And one day this distance between Ukrainians will disappear. And we will be together again, as one family, as one country. And this is only a matter of time. And Ukraine believes that it will be able to achieve peace. Peace on all its land. Ukraine is capable of this. Because Ukraine has a character. Stone endurance, a look that we do not reject. And hands burned by fire and time, but very. Hands that hold the shield. And protect their own land, their own culture, their own millennia of history. Proof of which are the founders of Kyiv. And we protect our future for which our heroes gave their lives. Names that we will not forget and will not betray. Names that protected independence. And here on the Maidan, Ukrainians often say goodbye to heroes on the shield. And everyone who was at least once at such a farewell, and everyone who lost someone in this war, has his personal account with Russia forever. And promised himself not to forget his heroes. The characterization of such an oath is a field of national memory. A field of great power. Because in every small proportion there is a great story, action, and choice. Choice for the benefit of Ukraine. For the benefit of the future. Namely, freedom and peace and freedom. This is the philosophy that is reflected in our culture. The image of the Cossack Mame who gained freedom, and therefore can put down his weapon and take it in the hands of a cowboy. Just in case, holding a saber close, but to return to a peaceful, civil life. This is what we all want to know. What no one will give, you can only choose. This is what we have been doing for 1,078 days of this war. War for independence. For each of these days, I want to thank you. Ukrainian warrior, Ukrainian volunteer, doctor, rescuer, teacher, our family, our youth, our parents. Every Ukrainian and every Ukrainian woman. Thank you all for the fact that we have already passed. And for the Ukraine that we are creating together. For the Ukraine that already exists now. Which has become an adult of 24 people. She took her fate in her hands. She took a weapon in her hands. She did not have time to hesitate and the right to be afraid. And really stop the second army in the world. We will talk about it. We will. Because it kills the myth of an invincible Russian army. We have proven it. We continue to prove it now. Everyone in their place. Everyone who carries independence in themselves. Who protects our right to be Ukrainians? With their work, their affairs, their achievements. Today, independence is on the battlefield. Independence covers the sky every night. It saves lives in hospitals. It extinguishes fire. It teaches. Independence does not sleep all day working at defense enterprises. Because it is so important that our warriors have everything. So that independence has everything to protect itself. Independence at the helm, on the road. To those who need it. Independence beats on the ring, on the world arenas. And the scenes where Ukrainians perform? She is on the pages of books, in the words of poems. Which Ukrainians write? When we hear from the enemy every day, there is no such state. There is no such nation. And when we make a U-turn every day, we prove that Ukrainians are, and Ukrainians will be. On this land, on this square, where in 100 years our next generation will stand. And in 100 years we will mark the day of Ukraine's independence here. It will be so. It will be so. Because Ukraine is different today. Ukraine is stronger and respects itself. And Ukraine does not wait for gestures of goodwill and has its own will to bring into life what we need. And when Russia wants to take Sumy, then the armed forces appear in Kursk. When the enemy beats on our energy, wants to leave us without light and heat, then his NPCs burn. No one can prevent us from such blows. Because it beats justice, just like when Russia attacks us every day. Our peaceful cities, our hospitals, our schools, kills our civilians. Our children. Then, in response, she gets a whip. And this is how justice beats. This is how Ukraine beats, when its calls for peace are not heard. How many times have we proposed a ceasefire? How many times have we said that we want peace? We want peace, but worthy and comprehensive. And so we count on the strength of the whole world. Here is such a Ukraine now. Here's such a Ukraine now. Ukraine will never again in history be forced to shame, which the Russians call a compromise. We needed just us, which will be our future, decide only for us. And the world knows it. And the world respects it. Respects Ukraine, accepts Ukraine as equal. Ukraine, which can really in a day gather and unite the leaders of the world around it. Ukraine, with which America wants to jointly produce drones. The whole world. Ukraine, which has restored the unity of Europe and the United States, and is now the basis of this union. Ukraine, which stands on its own and can stand up for itself. And so Ukraine hears, counts with Ukraine. Listen to it. Her place is at the table. She is not told to wait outside the door. She is told to decide only for you. This is the kind of Ukraine a week ago I had the honor to represent in the United States of America. Today, the United States and Europe agree. Ukraine has not yet won, but it will definitely not lose. Ukraine has won its independence. Ukraine is not a victim, it is a fighter. Ukraine does not ask, it offers. Alliance and partnership, the best army in Europe. Advanced defense technologies, experience, resilience. We say we need the United States, yes, but we need it no less, and everyone recognizes this. And this is how Ukraine is recognized. Not a poor relative, but a strong ally. This is what the coalition wants. This is what Washington was about. About this and that. How to ensure a stable, reliable, lasting peace. Ukraine will get it. Because it gets security guarantees. So strong that no one else in the world, even in their heads, could think of attacking Ukraine. This is not only our goal. This is exactly what we want and have to pass on to our children and grandchildren. Strong Ukraine, equal Ukraine. European Ukraine, independent Ukraine. In order to break the closed circles of history in which each generation did not have enough to preserve independence, each new generation entered a new round and again had to take up arms, again had to defend itself and win back freedom. We must not give up this beginning. We are building a Ukraine that will have enough strength and power to live in security and peace. So that on this square, on the maiden of our independence, under our flags, on our land, our children, our grandchildren celebrated Independence Day. In peace, with confidence in the future, with respect and gratitude to everyone who defended Ukraine in this war. In the war for independence. Those who endured, those who managed, those who won, it is worth living for such a purpose. This is what we stand for. Happy Independence Day, great peoples of the great country. Glory to Ukraine, glory to the heroes.